I always find it odd when people ask me why I do X, Y, and Z. And what they're really asking is essentially, what's the benefit of what you're doing, right? They can't wrap their minds around it. And the truth of it is, they don't need to know the benefits of it, right? And I think that's a key thing for all of us to learn is we feel like we always have to justify ourselves, especially as artists. People can come at us from all sorts of angle and criticize of like, you're wasting your time, or that's useless, this will never amount to anything. Entrepreneurship can be the same way, right? But other people don't need to get it. We need to get it, right? And so let's take something as simple as these lessons that I do, right? They don't get a lot of views. And so who are they for? What are they about? Well, for me, number one, it's a form of journaling, right? It's a way of keeping my thoughts, keeping the things that have benefited me and putting them in a more permanent form so I can recall them, right? So that's number one. Number two, there's plenty of times in my life where, someone will call me, a friend, and they'll be looking for some sort of answer. And if I don't have the time, I can just point them to a past video and be like, this is exactly what you need. This is the answer. And most of the time it is, and they'll respond back, thank you. So that's number two. Number three, the people that do consume, my stuff, the small amount, aka you, let's say right now, there's a benefit to them, right? They get something out of it. So it's no different than when I talk about like people are always concerned with the length of life, right? Like I'm going to live to be 100. But why are we never concerned with the width of life, meaning our impact? So I don't care about the quantity of people that I reach with this stuff. To me, it's about the quality. And I've been very lucky where, not every episode resonates with somebody, but the ones that people need, somehow it finds them and it's exactly what they need. And they sent me this very thoughtful response or whatever. And that means the world to me, right? So that's a benefit. And that is thirdly. Fourth, and finally, to me, people just see this stuff, right? In my sphere, and they're like, wow, he's doing it. He's prolific and so forth, and he's not going to quit. How can I utilize that? And so I get a lot of clients, side gigs through that way, which helps fuel my creative stuff because I'm able to finance it, right? So that's a benefit, right? But even beyond that, just in life in general, right? So not talking about these lessons and episodes, although this is a part of it, we overemphasize stuff that has to, work for us, right? So there's a quote in The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, a wonderful, wonderful book that I read at 15, and it just changed my life in the best way. Like, it was amazing. And in it, there's a line that says, "A fool is happy when their cravings are satisfied. A warrior is happy without reason." That's something not a lot of people get, right? Like, we always think like, oh, well, again, what's the benefit of this? When someone asks you, why do you do X, Y, and Z? It's because they're trying to tap into, okay, what are you doing this for? Well, what if the reason it just makes you happy? Right? Here's a simple thing. When it comes to, let's say, health and fitness, going to the gym and stuff like that can seem monotonous for a lot of people. I hate it. I don't do it. For me, I play soccer, I go biking and take walks and things like that because that to me is enjoyable. And so the question to ask yourself, if you're kind of in that same boat where you don't want to go to the gym, but you want to stay active and so forth, is, okay, what are things that I enjoyed as a kid? Because as a kid, generally we pick based on stuff of what we like as opposed to any other benefit, right? And so, if someone took a dance class when they were a kid, well, and they're trying to stay active and so forth, why not take the dance class as an adult? Like find something around dancing. So I think I think we overcomplicate, conflate, and all this stuff about like what life has to be, when many times if we just look for happiness as the guiding motivator, the rest of it falls into place. And there will be benefits, right? I mean, just even in art itself, the amount of times, like whether films or books, that I know, the creator themselves will talk about, they just wanted to make something cool and, they didn't know if it would turn out well or not and so forth. They just wanted to make it. Let's take something like Chungking Express by Wong Kar-wai. He essentially he was so burnt out on the filmmaking process that he essentially just wanted to be a film student and shoot a micro-budget movie. Turns out it's one of the greatest movies ever made, according to many, many people. Right? It certainly makes the top 100 list. Look it up if you've never seen it. And that's because you could see how much fun he's having with it. I mean, if anything, like there's a great video of Quentin Tarantino talking, like introducing it essentially. You can like look it up on YouTube. Quentin Tarantino introduces Chungking Express. And like the passion he has just talking about it, and how it resonated with him, you could tell because there was such a level of enjoyment in making that movie. And so I think we need to let happiness be more of a driving force for us, as opposed to just the benefits. And let's see how much more beneficial that will ultimately be. Comment down below. Let me know how that goes for you. I'm very curious. Because, there might be more streamlined ways for me to achieve X, Y, and Z. But not as enjoyable to me. So, I don't mind going about it in my own way. I'm having fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Truly do appreciate you. I'll see you next time.